Ladies and gentlemen, it is August, what the fuck am I on? It is October 2nd, 2015. I got it right the second time, and that is what matters. And this is, of course, our wonderful show. Usually, being it's a Friday, I would do something with the retro stream theme to start, but instead today I decided that it would be fun to play something that was on my radar because, the guy who did the Stanley Parable, or Parable, however you'd say that word, without the botching, put out a new game. It came out, I think, yesterday, if I recall correctly, and I wanted to check it out. I don't know how the sound is, so let's go ahead and check that real fast. Let's go ahead and let's drop this to about there, because that's usually about right. And let's go ahead and see how that goes. I have no idea what to expect, except for the fact that it's going to have, I'm assuming, some sort of similar design to the game. Essentially, the idea being that it's going to be a kind of exploration with a narrative, and we're going to enjoy that. According to his, little Steam dealie that when he put it out, it's going to take about an hour and a half, so it'll be the first portion of the stream. And when we finish that, we'll jump back into our usual with Chrono Trigger for you guys who are here for that. But without further ado, why don't we go ahead and begin the game? Let's begin the game. I thought it broke for a second. Please make sure audio is on. I think we're okay, guys. Can we hear the audio? I think we can hear the audio. Those are pretty simple controls. Clicking and WASD. I was also looking for something a little more laid back, so hopefully this will be that.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Wreden. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Okay.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
Oh,
and
cool.
Mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
There's a crate.
It destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator.
Damn,
it's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's
I'm already
games.
excited about this game.
I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And
There's
that's
a bunch
exactly
of
what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped.
It's a good thing. Options, let's see, audio, right? No, it's gonna be video? Nope, it was audio. Mistakes. Closed captioning, full captions. I guess that's what we need. Continue.
In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com.
If you guys want,
okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Now, the question is, will the closed captions work for us? Us, a bright room. Woo! Okay. Whisper machine status active. Okay.
This game is called Escape from
There we go.
Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Okay. Can we crouch? We can't crouch. Sweet. That was not in the control scheme. Can't get through there, though. Can we run? I don't think we can run. Okay, so we got over here. I wonder how much he changed these levels, or if they're actually exactly as they were. I suspect that based off what's been said, it's exactly as they were, which is kind of cool.
Security hull breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
So it's supposed to be a thing that came out of there?
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Yeah.
For instance,
I was gonna
you
say.
have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't
Right.
even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't
I
really
just
know.
ran out.
Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Totally agree. I like this plan.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Ha! That's so cool. Oh man, this is gonna be fun because I've been thinking about building a game sometime here in the near future, and looking at this kind of stuff would be pretty cool because it gives you an idea of sort of the start. Because really, when you start out, it's not about building something really really complete. It's about building these prototypes. He's like, is this fun thing? Now, I think that mostly because this is wandering around, like this doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't feel
Apparently
complete.
the space station has a labyrinth on it.
Oh god, labyrinths, gonna love those.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, that's helpful, thank you. Can I go in? Kinda wanna go back.
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Dude, oh man, this is what I love about his, him being, David's, like, style. The fact that, like, not going the way he wants you to is kind of encouraged in some ways. Because, like, if you have played this Stanley Parable, and if you haven't, I say go fucking play it, 'cause it's amazing. But the Stanley Parable was all about exploring a narrative, and the branching paths that you could do were narrated as you go. And whenever the guy would say, do this thing to do this thing, like, you could choose to not do it, and that would have its own wonderful little piece of absurdity, like he was saying. And I really enjoyed the way that the narrator and the player interacted, so I'm probably going to be going wrong directions all the time. And of course, now I'm lost, which is fine. You know, we'll figure it out. Let's just follow the left wall, right? See how that goes. Because eventually that has to work, right? Good times. Oh, that's not it either. Oh, noes. Oh man, but yeah, I've been considering building a game for quite some time, and I think that once I get to that point, I'm gonna start building some prototypes and maybe use you guys for some testing and things. But yeah, one of the things that you learn quickly in building or designing a real game is to learn
this is
the
the part
things.
that's interesting.
Oh, hold on.
The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
I don't know if he's going to continue. But the minimum viable product kind of idea, where you build like a prototype or something, is kind of really important. So games like this can be kind of inspiring to sort of like build a thing that's interesting, that's really dumbed down. Like, you know, if this is all polygons and it still had something that felt fun to play, that's when you know you've got something to start with. Anyways.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
I see why he likes this game. Oh, that's really cool. We're doing it, guys.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay. Oh, that's... Oh, wow. What a bug.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him.
Labyrinth.
Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. These all feel like they're Source Engine games. I wonder if this is because he imported them that way, or if these are actually the original code, kind of like tweaked a little bit for the narrative. I feel like it's broken. I can't move.
So try walking backwards. Yep.
Oh,
in this
there we go.
game, you can only walk backwards.
The past is behind her. Oh, that is a... Oh my god, dude. Yes, this is so cool. Hey there, TKR. How's it going, man? Big hearts to you. Hopefully you enjoy this really interesting experience that I'm already enjoying. How are you doing, man? Oh, this is so cool. I can see... Oh, you can only move backwards. That is brilliant.
So it's a short and relatively
future cannot be seen.
minimalist
I love it.
experiment combining motion and narrative.
Why does the future...
It is less advanced than the
Keep
previous
changing.
game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
No, I
Coda's
totally
trying
agree
to
with
give
him.
it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing
When she
trope.
stops and looks, it becomes clear. That is like the coolest thing. Oh my god. Doing okay, so I thought you were playing this and it looked interesting, so I thought I'd stop by. Yeah, dude, this is super cool. Super cool. Too enjoying. It was about to leave to the store, but I can't because it's interesting. Yeah, no, okay. So this is the same guy that did the Stanley Parable, which is what I was mentioning earlier in the stream. And it's not even based off of stuff he did. It's based off this other guy. And, like, it's just... Already I'm really impressed with just this. It's a narrative, but... Imagine if this had, like, an audio track as opposed to these little text bits. You know, little... Maybe even floating stuff. When you hit like a certain thing, or maybe visuals or something that could really enhance the idea of this thing where you can't really figure out, you know, where you're going until you take a or you can't figure out where you're at until you take a moment to observe the surroundings you have. Like this, oh man, this gives me some fun ideas for some cool shit we can do with games. How will she find the strength? Also, hey there, Noctis, glad to see you stopping in, man. And I'm also glad that I could intrigue you to confront it. Hold on, what did it say?
It's a short little thought, it says what it
there we
wants
go.
to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
I totally
Okay,
agree with that.
next one.
Oh, that was so cool. Oh man, I'm excited to see all these. Like, really excited. All right, what do we got here? Oh, we can only see in such. Oh, we can't even. Okay, there's like invisible walls, and we can only see so far. It's like a darkness thing. You are now entering.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Oh, I'm already thinking that's interesting, because you can do so much with something like that.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Okay,
wish
I
I'd
promised
known him at the
someone
time
I
that
wouldn't
he was
starve.
making these
Oh,
early
hold on.
games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Okay, I promised someone I wouldn't starve, so off the store, but I'll take my revenge fig. Oh, why would you take your revenge? That's not very nice. Hopefully we see you when you return, though. It's very important that you feed yourself, but also I think that you would really get a kick for this game. I think you would. And of course, if you don't, it will be on the YouTubes, so you can check it there. Alright, so this game is interesting already. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I don't think there's going to be a lot of discovery for this game because it's not currently... Oh, we're slowing down. It's not currently on Twitch's games. The only reason why this is working is that
Once you've been slowed to an
have
absolute
program.
crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
But the YouTubes won't answer my witty comments. It's true. But hey, I'm just saying, if you need to see it, you can see it there. But I do hope to have you stop back in. I think we'll have a good time. I think this is the kind of game you and I can have a conversation about. I don't want to hit enter, but I kind of want to hit enter. It's like Stanley Parable aspect. You know, like if I don't hit enter, will I get something special? Will I get like a different piece? Or will we eventually stop completely? I'm gonna persevere, guys. Because I'm ridiculous. Don't enter it yet. I totally agree, TKR, man. That's exactly how I'm looking at it. The more time I spend not doing what he says, the happier I'm going to be just because of the Stanley Parable. And I don't know if you caught the part earlier. I have no idea what to expect with this game. I literally just said, "Oh, it's by the same dude. I gotta play this," and I think it'll be fun to do it on the stream. And that's all I have for this. So, you know, so far I'm really happy with it. Best, like, what was it, $7 or something like that I've spent so far? Like, well, not best so far, but like best in a while. And it's also it's a relaxing, you know, calm game. Like, I just played through Soma. Let me tell you, the game had some tense moments. This game, no tense moments. We can just explore this really tall staircase that we walk up at a snail's pace and hope and pray that maybe we'll get some witty comment that comes at us because we didn't press enter. But yeah, this should be cool. I'm definitely... That's what interested me. Oh, by the same guy who did Stanley? Okay, yeah, that's basically what I saw it pop up on my my Twitter feeds for a thing that came out yesterday. And since I was in the middle of Soma, I was like, damn, I can't play this yet. Well, I'll finish Soma, and if I get it done before Friday, we'll definitely check this out early. And yeah, that's literally what I looked at it as too, because this guy has got a way of doing narrative. And so far, like I love how he's not just saying, here's a level, go check it out. He's describing kind of how it felt to him and what he got from his buddy and all that stuff. And I think that's a really cool way to experience sort of this not even his thing. Like he's got it secondhand, so he's going to give it to you or to us as like sort of third hand. And I like that. We almost got it, guys. We persevered. Yeah, I hope that you are enjoying this as much as I am, because especially that walking backwards game, that thing was the best. As a piece of spoiler, not spoiler, but context, TKR, remember that I usually have a 15-minute opening to the show, so I've only been playing for about 15 minutes. We're almost there. Is this a bed? What is this? Get in that door. Can we even not go in the door? Let me in the door. Can we move faster if we press 2 inputs? Can't tell. Is that a bed or like a stairwell? Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to expect yet, guys. How many of the game's levels did I do before I got here? Like 2 or 3. Like, you came in at the, walks backwards. Stand on X starting at bear for 3 hours. Oh god. Walk around down from pushing... Are these gonna disappear? Key in one game unlocks a door to complete a separate game.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
A stranger appears. You must address a rally group of eager press reporters. Live on a boat, taking orders from the capitals.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person,
you only missed 2 games.
but that it takes time to really see that. it can be a very slow climb to get there.
That was really cool. I like the idea of giving yourself your own little, like, room. Ready, set, fish, huh? Okay, these aren't doors. So you've only missed the first two. Which is cool, because this means that you get mostly the thing that's going on. So basically you missed the introduction more than anything else.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
You mean it's a door? You click a thing and it opens? There's another switch.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
I like
You're
that solution.
See it a lot.
Who is Coda? So Coda apparently is a buddy of his who is developing games. Basically, what this game is about, in a nutshell, from what I can gather, is that his friend Coda started building games and then eventually stopped, and he wanted to explore sort of the cycle of starting out and playing around with level editing and stuff. The first level looked like a Counter-Strike level. We talked about that a little bit. The second one was that kind of like, or was this kind of what felt kind of incomplete, but I guess could be complete because he stopped with it like where it was. But it's just like a kind of wander around shootery experience. Basically, these are games that his friend put together and shared with him at some point. So whenever you hear Coda, that's what he's talking about. 3 dots.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Oh, I'm excited to see something. Holy Mother of God.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
That was awesome. You're now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow.
Yeah.
It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
I'm excited to see what this picture is. I'm really excited. Great, lovely descent, huh? Okay.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source.
He's using the Source
Like
engine.
all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Yeah, I was going to do the same thing, TKR, about the sort of prison feel. I don't want to go down yet. Nope. I want to go up here. Nope. Oh, that door won't open? Sadness. Okay, I guess we'll go down. Can we fall? We can fall! Well, we skipped part of the descent. I don't know if I'm happy that I skipped a bunch of that or not. Okay, stairwell, love it. I did a lot of falling. Did you check out the, when you get a chance, check out the highlight I put up from Soma. I think you'll laugh. It's relevant. Okay. Not a whole lot to see in this room, but we can go in these. It's like a prison. Oh, it's an elevator. Can't get off the elevator. But I want off the elevator.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
I think in this case, I don't mind.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
That's awesome.
There wasn't.
Or no, sorry, not the stream diving into all the pits. No, the one that's a highlight, an actual highlight. It should be a title, something along the lines of, this is why you don't dig down or something like that. Or never dig straight down. Mistakes were made. Diving into all the pits was my stream last week.
With the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Okay.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Two doors and switches. Guess I did lose the last thing I did out here. No, I don't remember having to go through a puzzle. We'll go with this one. I guess I could read this. What? But you don't understand. We're trapped there. Or trapped here. That puzzle is our only escape. We need to get through it. I want to go with, let me describe it for you. Let me tell you all about what was over there. No, that isn't possibly enough. I need to actually be there. I cannot simply be told what it is. I must see it myself. I must escape this prison. Oh, I didn't get the last bit there. Can we go up there? Okay. Hello, how did you get here? Was it a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. These guys are interesting to me. Yeah, I kinda died. It was a good time.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
God, this game is so interesting. Okay.
It's a lamppost.
Is that all I get?
I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something.
Okay.
He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
I'm excited. You've been playing Minecraft really too? Yeah, I haven't played Minecraft in forever, but I immediately thought of that when that happened. This game is so exciting. This game is connected to the internet, okay. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. When was Dark Souls created? Was that before or after 2009? Because if he did this before that became a thing, that's really interesting. Nice room, not? Okay.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
How do you beat this game? Okay.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And
being over-enthusiastic happens. Whoa, holy shit. Oh wow, there's a lot of these notes. You have no idea about Dark Souls? I mean, obviously the game isn't connected to the internet, but it'd be very interesting to note if he had the idea of doing that before that came out. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Everyone
Either way,
read this.
To me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
So TKR, you see the Consortium was on my wish list. I believe I put it on there because you were talking about it.
That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Was Consortium early access? Is that because I remember there being a reason why I wasn't going to jump right on it. But if it's early access, maybe I won't. But if it isn't, if it's actually a complete game, TKR, I'll actually more than happily play that soon rather than later. How is our wooden grass and coffee? The main reason why I hadn't been doing it before is that I just didn't have the time to invest in random games like that. You know, like if I wanted to play something that I wanted to play, I had to play other games during the week, so I had to sort of like really pick and choose. But one of the cool things about now that I've split off from the other guys, like I'm only playing for a couple of days a week, but I have more time just to, you know, dick around with games and stuff. Part of the reason why I chose to play this as opposed to play any of the other games that are on my list. I think it might have been when I mentioned it before, but it's not now. Okay, then I'll take another look, see what the price point is. I do need to start saving because I do plan on moving as soon as I can. But if the price point's decent, I'll definitely play it for you, man. And I'll put like everything else, it's going to go up on the YouTube. So, and if you want the multiple playthroughs, as long as it's not like a super long game, I'll be more than happy to explore everything about the game. Okay, let's see if we can actually read this. I just saw a flying penguin. Let me majestic thing I ever seen. I don't feel like living because nothing will ever be as majestic as that. I never want to see anything again if nothing will ever be that beautiful again. I'm crying now and plan on ripping my eyes out. I must go now go do that. Okay, interesting. The question is, do we want to read all of these? Feel like a hero yet? That's a good line. A world full of notes. One man will read all of them this summer. You'll believe blue speech bubbles can talk. I love it. Cool cavern, bro. Running out of space. Soon we will suffocate. There are so many messages in this area. They are not really left by their players. This is actually all him. That was noted by Davey, or David. Sorry. Is it Davey or David? I can't recall off the top of my head. He mentioned it earlier. I'm just gonna clear out this room and then we'll kind of hit them as we go. Okay, we cleared this room out. So can we just jump down? No. Okay. Go around. But I can see why this has that seductiveness that was being mentioned. Just because, like, so much that you could learn about somebody if they just leave a bunch of notes like this. One of the reasons why I love dev commentary. Can you follow that ledge? No, I tried. I did, in fact, try. Just looking to someone to talk with. Yeah, like you can definitely feel that loneliness that he mentions. Butt ass butt. Oh, good shit. Recognize me, please. I love how those two contradict each other. A free t-shirt? I should have read that one. Someday I'll meet the person who made this. It's not very crowded here. I think this game is interesting, but not as entertaining as Stand Parable. Well, so far, I mean, I find it interesting because I kind of want to build games, and so getting an idea of like what's behind games and stuff is definitely cool. I'm not going to read all these. I'm just going to read a few of them as we go. But yeah, no, I definitely can see where, like, the Stanley Parable is way more entertaining because it's got that ridiculous thing. But what I think about this game is that it's a different kind of narrative that so far I've really been intrigued with. And I'm looking forward to seeing as, like, kind of time goes by how things progress and change. There is so much space. So much space. All of the space, in fact. And if this stuff is, I mean, this is all Source Engine stuff, which is kind of impressive considering, like, some of these rooms have some pretty tricky geometry to work with. Yeah, that was a cool picture, I agree. I wonder if it has something.
We're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
I kind of like that concept. I can agree with that.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
I don't think Coda killed himself. It sounds like this is kind of, to me this kind of feels like a plea to get him back into developing games because of how much interesting stuff was coming out of this one. Or out of the games, I should say. But no, he didn't. He just stopped making games. Typewriters and a light post. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. I didn't want to yell. Figured it was probably better. Didn't want to wake everybody up. Porn stars die too.
Tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. I think we're at a club. I feel like we're at a club. I'm assuming that's an actual music.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Okay. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Oh! Oh, whoa! We're gonna go with the ridiculous here. Giant hole in the ground. That wasn't what I asked for! Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? Let's put a huge picture of a horse. That's not what I asked for either. A skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. I'm thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. We'll put a Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah, I like the Tesla coils. Aww. And a table. You need a table. Who are you? Where's exactly going from? I'm pretty sure any of this choice is making any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. I'll let you answer this one, man. I'm kind of leaning towards 3. Personally, at least. You want 3 again? Damn you, Edison. I agree. But yeah, what do you want for the table? Nice answer. Whoa.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
I actually kind of like it. Like, the thing I like about...
He throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. You know, we're actually going to take our first break for the evening real fast because I need to use the restroom. Figure we can do that for the YouTube splitting and stuff. So when we return, which will be very quickly because I'm really, really into this game right now, we'll continue with the playthrough. So we'll be right back.